Thank you, my friend. It was an honest answer. I mean, I've been thinking about it, and I think it's because both of us take so many shots from the same liberal, progressive media that we figure if they're standing kind of close together, they got to take two of us down instead of just one of them to silence the word. And maybe that's the best answer. Pastor, I'm not sure we can go back into Baptist churches because when they find out how close we're sitting up front, I don't think they'll allow us back in. But I'm willing to make the move, and it is always a pleasure for me to be here at Cornerstone Church. We were here a few weeks ago for a great event with Geert Wilders, who is one of the top politicians in the Netherlands, who brings his message to the United States, and just packed this house on a rainy Thursday night with the blessings of God being preached by Cornerstone. And in this place, it is always a pleasure for me to be here, with whatever the occasion, where the Word of God and the love of this nation is preached so strongly and embraced so strongly by this congregation. Pastor Davis asked me to share just a couple of quick things. Let me just mention three things real briefly. First of all, we are in tough times in this country. There is an old adage that, it's tough when you know that you're feeling the pain, and we're feeling the pain in every area of this country, in the economy, in our fear, in our morality, in every piece. But the Bible, as Pastor Davis said, gives us instruction. It is the rule book that tells us what to do. And God told us that if we will turn our face to Him, if the people who are called in His name will look to Him, He will heal our land. And I got to tell you, folks, we got people with the paddles that are able to put them on the chest and heal this land. And if we will turn to God, He will heal our country. If people who are in His name, who are in His faith, will look to Him, He will heal all of this country. And it is places just like this where people are turning their face to God. So this is the emergency room, and we can go out and spread that message. As Pastor Davis was talking on the show today, he mentioned this great mock-up of the Tomb of the Unknown, and I was telling him that I was in Washington just a couple of years ago, and I can't go to Arlington without going by the Tomb of the Unknown and watching as those men and women in uniform stand guard on that tomb, and I get chill bumps when I think about it. But I was talking with one of those guys the last time I was up there, and he was relating a story of one day, and it happened to be some clouds in the sky, it looked like rain was threatening, and that's what brought it up when we were talking about it. That not too many years previously, really severe weather, the kind of stuff we've seen in Alabama, the kind of stuff we've seen in Joplin, Missouri, started blowing through that area. And the lightning was flashing, and the wind was picking up, and tornado warnings were being sent out, and people were literally hunkering down in their basements. And these men kept marching in front of that tomb, back and forth, clicking their heels. And they were ordered by their commanders, this is too dangerous, you need to come in. And they refused, because what they are doing was so important, to pay honor and tribute to those who have gone before, which is exactly what we're doing here. So when they bring that out, I want you to think a little bit about those who have gone before, but also those who are standing before that tomb in Washington doing their duty, so that we never, ever forget. One final point. There's a lot of debate in this country all the time about whether or not we are a Christian nation. And I would commend you to go back and read what our founding fathers said. As I was mentioning a few weeks ago when I was here at Cornerstone, there was no separation of church and state in the minds of our founding fathers. Preachers and pastors at that time would preach from the pulpit and then literally say, follow me, and they would lead their congregations into battle against the redcoats to secure the freedom we take for granted. Our founding fathers didn't have a mistake about what our faith and what our church and what our God and what our country meant and were linked together. But we debate a lot of this time in this country all the time, or are we a Christian nation? I'm not sure I can convince anybody today, but I will say this. As we look at the history since this nation was founded, this nation has stood up to fight for freedom all over the world. We have stood there with others with no gain to our nation in the darkest hours of World War II, in the rice fields of Vietnam, in Korea, in Fallujah and Baghdad and Afghanistan, and all over this world we have stood for freedom and stood up for the dispossessed and those who are at risk. We have been the first to arrive when tsunamis wipe places off the map, when earthquakes bring devastation, when poverty and hopelessness has gripped other people who have no relation to us. I don't know if I can convince you that we are a Christian nation, but I will say this clearly. The world is a better place because we are a nation of Christians. God bless you.